Here we go. SOC spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Our red Terran player for the remainder of the series. SACSRI. Oh my gosh. Spawning in the top right-hand corner. The blue Zerg player. I wish it would have been blue Terran, red Zerg. That would have been a little bit nicer. A little bit easier to see. But this should be fine here. I know people complain about the plague, and I definitely see your guys' point. But unfortunately, it is very hard to control who gets what color in Starcraft Broodwar. Doesn't always work out the way you planned. And so SOC here. How will he be playing in this series against SACSRI? For the most part, Terran players get to choose the pace of the game. Not in all cases, but whether they decide to go open with 1-1-1 or if they try to go for bio plays or mech plays, it's up to the Zerg to figure out what's going on and react for the most part. SACSRI, he's a very good reactive Zerg player. Ooh, a little bit late on his hatchery. Look at this. 50 extra minerals. I wonder if there's a bit of input lag or something. Maybe it was just the drone turning around there on the ramp, having a bit of a problem with its pathing that messed things up. Guys, let me know in the chat if the volume sounds good here. Tried to lower the game audio, or get the game audio up a bit and lower the music audio a bit. So let me know if you guys can still hear everything, if you can hear my voice and everything's coming through clear. I did a little sound test before, but you never quite know with audio. It seems to always be a problem, basically no matter what. Why are we not mining gas here? This is concerning. I'm not sure what's going on. SACSRI seems to be pretty off his game as we get into this one. Maybe he'll settle in a little bit more as time goes on, but I mean, not mining gas for that long and having an idle drone there, plus not getting his natural hatchery down at right on 300. This is not great. We've got the 308 layer. That's a few seconds late. Definitely should have been finished, or should have been started a little earlier. Back at home for SOC. How's he hitting his build? He's got engineering bay on the way immediately. I'm less familiar with all the Terran timings here, so I'm not sure if he is a little bit behind as well, but it feels like he's got his build well underway. He's going to be getting that +1 upgrade right off the bat. And playing a bit more of a safe early game as he gets into that really strong Marine Medic mid game. SCV is being kept away for the time being. And SACSRI hasn't moved to take a third just yet. He's actually got something out in his base. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, he is going to make a third hatchery. Third hatchery in main. And he should be getting his... Wait, his spire. Where's his spire? He got the hatchery first. And now he has money for the spire. Where is it? Oh my god, everything is so slow here. What's going on with SACSRI today, guys? I'm a bit worried. There's that spire. And so he will get that underway. He will get up to his Mutalist tech. But I'm feeling a bit concerned that we're not getting the best out of SACSRI. Is he hungover? Is he tired? Is there maybe some input lag or some sort of lag in the game? I think there shouldn't be. SOC and SACSRI are both in South Korea, one of the places with the best internet connection in the world. And so I can't imagine there would be much ping between these two players. I hope he's going to be taking it seriously here for barracks coming out from SOC. This is very standard. After you open with the very early +1, going directly into 4 barracks play, it makes a lot of sense. You're relying on your Marines very heavily. You're investing heavily into that early upgrade, so getting a large number of Marines and leaning into your strength makes a lot of sense. It's going to result in maybe a slower factory, though, than if he was going for instance, a 3 barracks play. He actually adds another one. Oh, man, he's going 5 barracks. This is a strategy we haven't seen a whole lot recently. 5 barracks play kind of fell out of style. It fell out of fashion. When Zerg players started to move away from 3 hatch before gas. 3 hatch was really strong for a while, and 5 factory came out to kind of meet that strength. But it's fallen by the wayside after the popularity of 2.5 hatch and 2 hatch replay came into its own. So to see 5 racks here is a little bit surprising. Gonna dive into the main, go after some. Oh my gosh, this is really bad control so far. He does get triple kill there on the Marines, and he could definitely take over this barracks area. Back at home, he's building just pure sunken colony. Can he actually kill this turret? He does get the turret and the Marines. Now he can take over the barracks area, start to kill everything that pops out. SOC sees the sunken wall, and he just turns around and starts heading back home. That's the right choice. Don't want to throw everything away at that sunken wall and lose everything back at home. The Lings coming into the natural are going to kill one of these turrets, and he's going to slow down. I'm not sure what this was. Factory. There's the factory starting up just after the 7-minute mark, but it's going to be delayed a bit here. Oh, a lot of Mutalisks dying as SACSRI flies out. Only 2 Mutalisks remain. He did a reasonable amount of damage there. He didn't kill many SCVs, but he killed a lot of Marines as they were popping out. The problem is, though, with 5 racks play, you're going to be able to make an insane number of Marines and medics, replenishing that number so quickly. And I'm not sure that the weakness of SOC's build is really going to come into play here. The weakness being that you don't have a very early factory with this. I don't see a quick transition coming out of SACSRI at all. He's just added on his Hydralisk Den now. And I don't think he did enough damage to SOC. Slow him down and make this viable. He doesn't even have a 3rd base started. He's got a hidden drone over in top left, but he hasn't started a hatchery because he knows he can't make it live. He can't keep that alive. He is going to dive on top of one of these small groups of bio. SOC splitting up his bio forces and loses one part of it. Cutting that down is pretty darn good. Maybe that'll give enough leeway here for SACSRI to take that 3rd, but he's still not starting that hatchery yet, which has got me a little bit concerned. Comes Lings now, diving on top of this with the Mutas as well. He should be able to clear this. Not the best control there either. So he will get forced back. These Bioforces probably have +1 armor done as well now. I haven't gotten a click on one of these just yet, but +1 armor is going to be finishing up here soon. Got the double starport. Science facility. Not a fan of this first game from SACSRI. He's really falling further and further behind. And I don't see a follow-up from him at all. No 3rd base. And he doesn't have quick tech. He doesn't have the option for doing some crazy push like a Defiler push into the natural. And so I really don't see a win condition here for SACSRI. How is he possibly going to take a win in this game? He's going to throw up his 3rd base now, but it's an afterthought. 10 minutes in, he starts that 3rd base. We should have Hive on the way as well. I don't see anywhere else his money could have been going during all this time. He's got 500 gas in the bank, so he's probably about to make a bunch of lurkers if I had to guess. And he'll be sitting back at home, just trying to stay alive while getting into his Defiler and his Carapace upgrade. But this hatch is so late. This third gas is coming online at such a delayed timing that I'm very curious to see if SACSRI can hold on against SOC, keep himself alive, and eventually get into a late game. His late game is very strong, I'll give him that. He has an excellent late game. But will he even make it that far? Diving in now on this natural. He's going to kill the bunker. And these Lings can then go to work on the turrets here in the natural. But a lot of the Mutalisks went down. So he's not going to be able to stay here for very long. This attack has no longevity as some Marines pop out. And the forces of SOC return home. He's just going to be able to hold that quite easily. Lurker stack under Overlord at the third base. SACSRI still yet to take his third gas here at nearly 12 minutes in. He's got a lot of drones popping out. Gonna add some more hatcheries as well here in the main. He has his Defiler mound done. There's SOC scouting top left. He sees it now. He knows what he's up against. He knows what he's dealing with. A bunch of drones gonna pop through and start to saturate that new base, but I can't help but mention how late everything is on the side of SACSRI. He's getting his third gas up at the 12-minute mark. There's already science vessels across the map ready to irradiate. I haven't seen many Scourge out of SACSRI, and that is expected. You're just not going to have that many Scourge available because your gas is so limited in a situation like this. If SOC just comes forward and keeps irradiating the Defilers over and over, I think he can grind this down. It's going to be really hard for SACSRI to go ahead and take a fourth base. Oh my gosh. 4 D-Matrix, 3 D-Matrix on Firebats. I love to see it. SOC is just going to break this open. He's not going to wait to grind this down. He's going to run forward and gun down all of these lurkers under that Dark Swarm. The stack is eliminated, and more lurkers are going to come running down here, but one of them doesn't even make it under the Dark Swarm. The Firebats are still here dealing that damage. He will just punch right through Firebats with D-Matrix. Smash SACSRI here in game number 1. Hype play there from SOC. That is really a popular strategy these days. It's so good against these Zerg players who want to stack lurkers and hide them under an Overlord. Very difficult to unstack those lurkers, to figure out that that's coming, unstack and spread your lurkers and then get the Dark Swarm down. Really, really tough to do. And he needed to have those stacked, otherwise he would lose everything to irradiates and get broken either way. So SOC takes game number 1. A clean win there, and a very poor opener from SACSRI. It feels like he was having a really hard time putting things together. Let's take a look at the chat. How is the audio quality there, guys? This is going to be our next map. Where is it being streamed? Where's the ASL qualifiers being streamed? It's being streamed on SOOP, and Artosis is going to cast it. He got rights to cast it from SOOP, so he's going to be casting it on his Artosis cast channel, but that'll be after. It's not going to be during the cast. I think it's not going to be live, so you can check that out on his stream. For now, we're going in to game number 2. Here we go. SACSRI versus SOC. Aaron in bottom left, Zerg in bottom right here on Pantheon. And let's pay careful attention to SACSRI. Make sure that he's playing up to snuff here. Something felt pretty off in that last game. I can't fully put my finger on it, but it seemed like he was not quite all there. He's gonna open up with a hatchery now. 9 pool, not a hatchery. This is the opposite. Rather than optimizing for his early game economy, he's gonna get some lings out. Will he? Oh, he did extractor trick. So he extractor tricks a drone out. And he is going to take his natural now, while pumping about 4 to 6 lings to put on this pressure. SACSRI, lucky for him, he sees the natural immediately. Oh, he's actually going to go for a scout. I see. He goes for the scout, not knowing where his opponent is. But now he's going to angle this scout over towards this natural. Try to put a little damage on the SCV as the barracks gets made. Lings are going to be coming out. Luckily for SOC, he sends his SCV in the right direction. Oh my god, he doesn't see the natural. Oh my goodness. Putting some Hawk Tua on that SCV. SOC turns his worker around. Goes to the middle of the map. Hey, if you're doing a 9 pool, I should see your lings coming cross map. If that's the case. Lings coming straight up here. I think that SOC is just dead. SACSRI pulled the wool over his eyes here pretty well. He's going to kill that Marine for sure. Second Marine pops out. That's going to die as well. A lot of SCVs have been pulled here. Can he get the block? Oh, this Ling can't hit. This Ling can't attack. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that Ling couldn't attack the Marine. The SCV's perfectly blocking them out. Oh, and all the Lings die. Great body blocking there from SOC. He's taken hardly any damage at all. He'll be able to get his CC up now. It's crazy how good these pro players are at dealing with Ling pressures like this. 9 pool doesn't really get anything done. And behind this, SACSRI is going to double expand. No gas, double expand. He doesn't, SOC doesn't see the center right. Oh, that's so funny. Gonna move out with 4 Marines. SACSRI doesn't have Ling speed or anything like that. He just got his gas out. So you'll need to build some Lings to deal with this. The 4 Marines are coming back home. And so SOC is not actually going to put on that pressure. He's scouting everywhere on the map except for center right. Actually find that third base. That was an incredible hold from SOC. And he's going to be reaping the benefits here. But what is the follow-up from SACSRI with these 3 bases? And how strong is it going to be? Oh, he still didn't see it. Wait, what? This is a Judas SCV. It's betraying the Terran race over and over again. It's giving false information. No, there's, you know, Zerg's not in the bottom right. No, he doesn't have a third base at center right. It's just not doing his due diligence and actually getting into those bases and checking. He's just being completely lazy, slacking on the job, and giving false information. To his Terran commander here, back in bottom left, SOC is getting into his second racks. He's opted for an Academy rush. And so he'll be able to put on a lot of pressure. This is a great idea when your opponent goes for 3 base. 3 base before gas. Getting just a 2 racks pressure play going. It's amazing because you have 3 different points to defend. Usually if you put this pressure on and the Zerg player is sitting on 2 bases, well, they have to build 2 sunken colonies to hold you off. But if they're sitting on 3 bases, they have to build 2 sunken colonies in 2 different locations. So you actually need 4 sunken colonies to survive. Oh my gosh, the Firebats following up this attack. The Firebats actually get completely surrounded there. 2 firebats go down and hardly any lings were lost. A really great play from SACSRI tracking that army and picking off the firebats. That makes this attack so much worse. The lings are going to help out a huge amount. And he only needs 1 sunken colony to hold this off now. And so 1 sunken colony at each base, that's going to be sufficient. SACSRI really doing a good job of maneuvering this game, despite it being a little bit rough, the early game. He's now on 3 bases. He's got 3 bases up. What's that? Like a full 4 minutes before he did last game? Like last game, he got his 3rd base at what, like 12 minutes? That gas finally came up. I can't remember exactly, but it was incredibly late. This time it's super, super early. We're gonna get that gas online now at the pre-7 minute mark. And so he will have a lot of income rolling. He's got 27 workers. I imagine he's going to be adding some more of those on as well. He's got a Hydralisk Den and a Spire. So he has both techs ready to rumble. Mutas are out now. Of course, it's about this is kind of a late Mutalist timing, but it's on curve for a 3 base before gas. Around 7 minutes, 7 minute 30. Getting that online. It depends on how many sunkens you end up getting forced out. And so the mutas are going to come in here, force some harassment, kill a few SCVs, but the tech transition is well underway. I expect we're going to see Hydralisk Defiler play out of SACSRI this game. Some more kills going down in the natural. I just realized that I didn't change the score board. SOC definitely did get that first win. I will change that immediately after. Sorry guys, I was concerned about the audio and whether it was working properly or not. Interesting. We're gonna see a tank Valkyrie push out of SOC, and you know what? This is not going to do well against what SACSRI is going for. He went for a really quick transition in this game. He added on... Wait, he didn't get the Queen's Nest? Oh, the Queen's Nest is pretty late. Maybe he can bust in with tanks here, actually. That's a possibility. Defiler is the way to stop this type of push coming from SOC, but if he doesn't have the Hive on the way already, that Defiler might be just late enough where the Valkyrie tank Marine medic army busts through one of these 2 bases, the natural or the 3rd. He's done some harassment to these SCVs in the line, but he'll finally be forced back now when the Valkyrie reveals itself. Sees that Valkyrie. Now he kind of has a good idea of what's going on. The Hive has started. Lurkers are going to come out. One of the big counters to this type of play is a hold position lurker. If you can get some hold position lurkers out and catch the army, oh gosh, this is a big spread. A lot of these lurkers are going to go down. That is not what I'm talking about. Hold position lurker, if you can get it out on the map and your opponent doesn't scan in time, you can get a situation where you could actually just catch the army and kill a huge chunk of it. But now the army is right here in the natural. Hold position lurker is no longer possible. I like the sunken colonies out there at the front. That's going to slow down these tanks just a little bit. At least long enough for him to get some more lurkers out. Not long enough, I think, for the Defiler. But cutting off reinforcements is also a good move. A lot of lurkers here, a lot of lings. I think he's going to try and dive on this with everything. He's trying to catch the reinforcements out on the map. Lings are going to come forward, try to kill one of these tanks if they can, but Marines are present. They're going to be stopping this. He does catch those reinforcements. SACSRI going to bring everything together and hit this from 2 different sides. He's not going to have the opportunity to hit this when the tanks are unsieged, though, and the tanks are getting into a really nice position here over this wall. Also, supply blocked at the moment. SACSRI really can't build anything. He has to go with what he has before he loses everything. Here he comes. Lurkers in from behind. Mutas overhead. Lings coming in on the ground as well. Scourge land on one of those Valkyries. The rest of the Valkyries are going to chase down these Mutas, but he has stopped this attack. Really good cleanup here by SACSRI. Catching those additional units, making their way across the map, I think was a big turning point here. Not allowing the reinforcement from SOC and buying that time. He's now gotten rid of both of the remaining 2 Valkyries, and he doesn't really have too many threats. There's not a lot of threats here for SACSRI. SOC is just kind of stuck building tanks right now. He doesn't really have anything going for him. He doesn't have a bunch of vessels, and there's going to be defilers out soon. As soon as those defilers are out, we're going to start to see plagues, and he can switch into Hydralus Defiler very quickly. I see a drone heading up to top right. SACSRI is going to take another expansion, it looks like, while getting these defilers out on the map. Here comes the first Dark Swarm, and now the tanks are useless. They're really not going to do anything. There's a first vessel coming out on the map as well. Scourge gonna go for that though. Scourge get the first vessel and the Dark Swarm here on top of the tank. SOC taps out. SACSRI fires back. Takes game number 2. There we go, SACSRI. Now he's looking on point. Opened with the 9 pool. Didn't end up working out, but really impressive follow-up from him. SOC spawning over in the top right-hand corner. SACSRI in bottom left. So cross map on kickback. I think the chances of seeing a Crazy Zerg play here are nearing 100%. And what will SACSRI have planned for this map? Is he going to go 2-port Wraith? 1-1-1 mech? How is he going to mix it up so that Crazy Zerg is not viable? Sulky came in and showed us in the previous season of SSL just how powerful that play can be here on kickback. Able to take down light on this map. Pretty spectacular fashion, if I'm remembering correctly. It didn't even seem close, and after that, pretty much everybody started to copy his build. Kind of surprised to see this map still in the pool. It's not in this coming season of SSL, though. Kickback has been kicked out of this map pool. And so the new crazy map, I can't even remember what it's called at this point. I haven't casted a single game on it, but there is one wacky map in the new SSL pool. It's kind of their trademark, I think, at this point. Always adding in at least one wacky map just to spice it up a little bit. Oh, here we go. We've got the wall in. We've got the gas. So there should be a factory coming down. It's looking like a 1-1-1 with only one SCV mining on that gas. Doesn't look like a 2-port Wraith build to me. Natural's going to be taken over here on the high ground. As he scouts this Natural. Not able to get in there, see what's going on, but he's got some sort of idea. This is most likely not just straight up bio play. Probably going to see some sort of a vulture coming out soon, so a sunken colony will be in order. About 3 minutes 30 is when you need to throw that down in order to block. It does throw a wrench into things. You might need it a little earlier if there happened to be, for example, a factory out on the map rather than like a proxy, rather than factory in the main. You actually have to get it down a little earlier, like a full 10 seconds earlier. But when he sees that SCV out on the map, I think he will realize that this is probably a factory inside the main. And so he does add that sunken colony at the right timing. That sunken finishes just in the nick of time as this vulture moves into position. One scouting ling getting picked off there, and the layer will finish. Third hatchery on the way immediately after for SACSRI here. And a Hydra Den in that natural. What is the follow-up from SOC, though? That's what I'm wondering. Did he build a starport? He did. And a science facility immediately. Very interesting. So I think he's actually going to go into bioplay. I think that's going to be the case. He's going to get a science vessel out. Build some turrets. And just have a really early irradiate. Like an incredibly early irradiate. As the Mutalisks fly in, he's just going to irradiate and do a whole bunch of damage to them. And kind of nullify the Mutalisks out of SACSRI, which is interesting. I don't see an evolution chamber started yet for SACSRI, so we're not confirmed going Crazy Zerg at this point. Hydras have been made. One Wraith. So he knows that it's not 2-port Wraith. Due to the fact that there's not 2 Wraiths here. It's pretty clear. Doesn't need a whole lot of Hydras. But he might be thinking about doing a bust. That's possible. With a teched out play like what SOC is doing right now, there is a real possibility that you can just smash through him. Oh, Evolution Chamber's on the way, and there's the Spire. He's going to go across the map with the Hydras, put on some pressure, maybe force a bunker, maybe kill a supply depot. It's possible. But I don't know how much more he's going to be able to get. I don't think he's going to be able to bust right through here. We'll want Hydra back, try to stop this Vulture from potentially running by, potentially setting up mines in the rally point. The Evolution Chamber should be starting Carapace, and I think he will go into Crazy Zerg, but just a little bit of a slower version. Here's a tank coming out. That should be able to hold off everything. Also keeping the repair going over on the supply depot. Supply depot getting kind of low. Forcing a lot of repairs out of these SCVs. Just going to continue to move out of range of this tank over and over again, being quite annoying. Forcing the task switching out of SOC. Can he actually get the supply depot? Oh, he does get it. Nicely done there. As the tank siege up. Time to leave. SACSRI is going to let that go as he's switching now into Hive with Carapace on the way. Start to pump out a bunch more drones. There's not really anything SACSRI can do to him or SOC can do to SACSRI at the moment. And there's really not much that SACSRI can do to SOC either. They're both kind of impotent in dealing any damage to each other. This Wraith is going to fly in and immediately get sniped. Didn't really get any information there, which I think that's what SOC was going for. Not necessarily to fly in there and get a bunch of damage, but just to figure out what exactly is happening. He's not going to get that information at all. And I think his upgrades are going to be behind SACSRI as well. So even though SACSRI didn't go into the fastest Crazy Zerg play, this might still end up working out well for him. Because he is ahead in those upgrades. Assuming he started it when the Evolution Chamber finished. As long as he stays on par with the attack upgrades of the Marines, then he is going to be in a great spot. Got the Ultralisk Cavern on the way. And a Defiler Mound as well. He's going to take another base in the top left. No, so not full-on Crazy Zerg. He will utilize Defilers with this play also. But he is going to be pumping out a lot of Lings and Ultralisks very, very soon. I think another Evolution Chamber there just got thrown down. And there's Carapace about to finish up. How are we, or where are we at with the Marines? Oh my god! Okay, good little move there from SACSRI. Kind of juking back and forth there for a second. Not allowing those Scourge to connect. If he gets one of those early kills, it's super rough. Coming directly across the map. Oh, he's gonna lose 2 vessels. Wait a second. My god, that was terrible. What were you thinking there, Sock? Sending your vessels ahead like that. The Hydras are gonna come forward and deal a lot of damage. Where are all the sunken colonies, though? There's not a lot of them. However, Defilers are already out. If he just pops a Dark Swarm here at the front, he can fight with Hydras against the tanks. Get some Lings out as well. Gonna go ahead and start to hit this. Marines going forward, fighting up against these sunken colonies. Where are the units here for SACSRI? Has he hit this perfect timing? We can actually break through. There's the Dark Swarm. A Dark Swarm coming down on top of these units. And the Lings will clear everything. Ling's just gonna push everything back now. Looks like the Marines are still gonna keep pressure on. Ultralisk will be out here in a moment. Scourge come forward. You will get this Science Vessel. Science Vessel goes down. Ultras out in the front. One more Dark Swarm on the tanks. And he should be able to push all of that back. There it is. Throws it down on the tanks. That's the right choice. He can push these tanks away. That he will hold for now. This timing that Sock was looking to hit, it looked pretty strong. But with the Dark Swarm and the Ultras, there's just no way you're gonna break this. And the follow-up is not that good. He's lost a ton of vessels. SACSRI already taking another base over in top left. We're gonna have Plague here soon. SACSRI just waiting on that important upgrade to come forward. We've got Scourge here that are ready to dive on this single vessel that comes up. And just one vessel is never going to be enough to deal with all of the Defilers that SACSRI can bring to bear. Here comes the Scourge again. He kills another one of these. And another Dark Swarm is going to come down. Plague is not quite ready just yet. Ultras are pushing forward with their 3 Carapace. Only +1 attack on these Marines, so they're really not standing up well in these low numbers. Oh, 1 Marine, 2 Marines get over to the top left. That's a big deal. Sock may be able to shut that down. If he shuts down that base, it's really going to hamper SACSRI. He's going to kill the Nidus. Can he actually kill the Nidus? The Nidus! It lives. The Nidus stays alive. The drones come off the line and kill that Marine. Ultra's heading over to the top left. Now that the Nidus is still there, the Nidus is still alive. He can pop through a Defiler and save the space, no problem. 1 vessel again, coming up to the front. I think he's producing just 1 vessel at a time off of 1 starport while producing tanks. So he's really not getting enough vessels out here to actually break anything. Dark Swarm, Plague maybe? Plague coming down, Dark Swarm, at least at the front for now. Marines are gonna run by. Marines running past, but there's sunken colonies, and he's just gonna get trapped up against the wall. A massacre here as he tries to run out. More Lings, more Ultras coming forward. Scourge are gonna run over this vessel. He actually targets down one of the Scourge. But Sock has to tap out. He loses control of this game. That 1 push was his 1 opportunity to break through SACSRI, and it looked a little bit dicey, but SACSRI had a ton of Ultras on the way, and the Defiler upgrades were in time to hold everything off. SACSRI fires back once again, taking away kickback. That's kind of expected. That is kind of expected. We would anticipate kickback going to the Zerg with the power of Crazy Zerg being what it is on that map. That's something we could certainly anticipate. But on Minstrel, which is actually a terrible map for Zerg in ZVT, Will SOC be able to start his comeback? Will SOC be able to even this series out? If we meet this gems goal, I'm gonna keep Shun up all night, and he is gonna cast some SOOP Duel Series with me. We'll do a dual cast as a reward for reaching this gems goal. It's like starting at like 3 a.m. UK time, but I did confirm with Shun last night that he would be down. He would be willing to sacrifice some sleep to thank you guys for supporting the stream. So donate some gems, guys. Let's reach this goal. Let's show SOOP that English Broodwar is worth supporting. Thank you so much, Eddie Slide, for the 50 gems. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get in here, Shun. Let's get Shun in here. We're at 680 now. We're making our progress. But we need more than just Eddie's Slide to carry this stream, guys. We need more of you to support Broodwar, to support the English cast. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to make it. And yes, I should definitely say that 50 gems is $6, something like $6. So 3,000 gems is $300, and we're trying to make that in 1 month's time. I know it sounds like a lot, but if everyone pitches in just a few dollars, we'll make it there in no time flat. So here's hoping that we can reach that goal, guys. We're jumping into our next game. Minstrel is map number 4. Here we go. SOC spawning in bottom right. And we've got SACSRI here in the top left. Hot off a couple of wins. Is gaining that confidence. Thank you for the sub, man. Mustrum. Appreciate you, brother. 180 days of SOOP Duel Series. Let's go. Let's see what SACSRI wants to pop out on Minstrel. Is he going to go for Hydra's Defiler once again? I think that's not a bad play on this map, honestly. Minstrel is incredibly hard to play as a Zerg versus Terran. There's not a really good place to take your third. Everything is difficult to defend, and a fourth base is also a real challenge. So Hydra's Defiler is a good way to fall back. Will he go for another 3 hatch before gas play? That would be interesting. It actually worked out quite well for him on the previous map on Pantheon, but that is certainly not a meta build right now. It's not in the meta. It's peripherally there. It's something that you can do, but it's just not common at all. I don't see a gas just yet, and another drone heads out on the map. I think this might just be a scout. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's heading over towards a third base, and there's the natural gas getting, or the main gas getting taken. So SACSRI not going to open 3 hatch before gas here. Let's see what other kinds of tricks he's got up his sleeve. You can do things on Minstrel like Hydra Guardian all in. Can be kind of strong. There's some good spots where you can morph your Guardians where Marines can't reach them, and they're still quite close to the natural. And so that play can be good. Could go for a lurker play as well, though that's not as popular. SACSRI, or sorry, SOC, building something over at the top center of the map. I wonder what that is. Overlord here going to be harassed, but it manages to make its way into that very important alcove where he's going to be able to see everything that pops out in this natural. He's going to be able to see the lack of CC, most importantly. Lucre Bomb, 100 gems. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, buddy. Massive support from Lucre Bomb. That's keeping us on track towards our goal. This is a proxy factory with that vulture. As I was talking about in the last game, you need to have your sunken colony started a little bit earlier, and it seems like SACSRI has sniffed this out. Just seeing the lack of CC tells him a lot. He's checking his main base to see if there's a floated factory there. That's a really smart move. He sees the Marines coming, and the vulture's going to make its way into the natural. Here it comes. Gets hit by the sunken colony one time. There is an SCV here, so he can repair that. And I think he's going to try and run by the vulture while the Marines tank the sunken colony shots. Another sunken colony going to get started here, but he needs Marines right now, and he needs to pull drones. Pulling drones to block the vulture from getting past is going to be key. SOC floating the factory into the main base. As long as SACSRI stays underneath that building, he will never allow it to land. But it looks like he is going to allow it to land and just try to surround the position where the vulture will pop out. Just make a full circle around that. And as soon as it pops out, try to kill it. Yeah, see, look at that. He's making a trap for it. What you can do, though, as soon as the factory pops out the vulture, just lift the factory and try to escape. It doesn't work. Perfect response there from SACSRI. He shuts this down with ease. Excellent game so far from SACSRI, man. I feel like that first game was just a glitch in the matrix, and now we're seeing the true power of SACSRI. This guy is seriously on point now, putting himself in another great position to potentially take out SOC in this fourth game and grab himself a third win. Few Hydras have been made to block this follow-up Wraith that comes across the map. And how is SOC going to continue this play? He's gone for Cloak, interestingly enough. Cloak and a bunker at the front. I think it's a reasonable decision. But he's going to lose this vulture. Whoa, big mistake there from SOC. SOC not reacting, just allowing the vulture to go down is really out of character for any professional Terran player to just lose your vulture like that. It's really rough. And so he's kind of panicking back at home, trying to figure out how do I take this game? How do I win this game? Or at least, how do I survive this next phase? He's sending a Wraith across the map to go ahead and get some scouting information, it seems like. At least see if there's more units coming. That's very important. If there was a whole bunch of Hydras being made right now, he could just quickly die off. And I think that was the point of the Cloak. If there was like a big round of Hydras on its way to his natural right now, he might still be able to live with Cloaked Wraiths hitting the Hydras the entire time while he's, you know, repairing bunkers and trying to stay alive. But that's not going to be the case. SACSRI just sitting back at home, getting his third base online, transitioning into Hive. We're going to see a Hydraless Defiler game out of him while SACSRI, or while SOC is exchanging and upgrading into a later game bio play. A transition is underway. Can he get some good damage with these Wraiths that he's spent so much money on? He does get rid of both the Overlords, and now he's got Cloak Wraith in the main. I don't think that there's a Burrow, and he's gonna get 3 drones right off the bat. Looks like a 4th drone might go down. There's a Wraith there. Oh, or there's an Overlord there, and the Wraiths are gonna go down. Oh, this last Wraith I think is gonna get hit. One barely manages to survive. At least he's gonna see the third base. And so he knows the future plans here of SACSRI. He's unloading all of his Marines from these bunkers, and he's going to start to push out on the map. One Wraith harassing this group of mutas, but it's going to take a long time for that to kill, and there's only 40 energy left on that Wraith. So it's not a long-term solution here by any means. In fact, SOC doesn't really seem to have a good solution. It's really hard to cast this, guys. I'm having a difficult time of it. SAK and SACSRI are very close. The names are really similar. That's becoming quite the challenge. And so SOC is going to push across this map now. Lurkers out in the front, blocking off this ramp, but there's so many different pathways to choose. SOC going to rotate, find another pathway that's less defended. Lurkers here in a line, though, are going to be able to block this. Wraith almost out of energy. It's going to run out of energy any second now. It would be kind of crazy for SOC to try and fight this. He's actually sent some units around through the middle. And he's got more Marines coming up now. But the Mutas, oh god, the Mutas just kind of flying in there. Loses both the Scourge. Now there's a Science Vessel. This is a little bit dangerous. This is what I was talking about on Minstrel. It's very hard to defend everywhere. SACSRI trying to get the right number of units in the right place to hold on to everything. He can't cover the bottom lane at the same time, though, and it looks like SOC is going to rotate towards that bottom lane, making more and more Lurkers, more and more Hydras. Lings are coming out in the Scourge as well. The transition to Defiler is well underway. SOC is going to push up with some tanks, though. Can he break through this before the Dark Swarms start to come out? SACSRI thinking about taking another base bottom left. Loses his Wraith, but 2 Scourge for that. And now there's no Scourge available to try and dive on these Science Vessels, unfortunately. 1 tank here. Takes a long time to cut through all this. Lurkers will have to retreat, though. Tank pushing a little bit further forward. And the Marines have crossed the bridge. This is all the pressure going to one area, though. Gonna dive forward now. Oh god, these Lurkers running right up on top of the Marines, but this tank Marine force is doing so well against the Lurkers. It's almost never advisable to go in for an attack like that. We saw SACSRI make it work by hitting from multiple angles in a previous game, in that Pantheon game, but hitting head on like this into tank Marine with unburrowed Lurkers just running forward like that, it rarely, if ever, works. And so he's gonna start to break through in this natural now. Okay, 1 SCV found the base, or not found it, but comes up to that base. We've got an Ultra popping out. 1 Ultra, 2 Ultras. Can they actually get past this? These 2 eggs? They will get past the eggs. Lurkers come running up. The Lurkers are going to be targeted down immediately, and now he can focus fire the Ultras as they slowly increment out here. SACSRI just doesn't have the armor online to actually bust through. I doubt he's even got his carapace, his chitinous plating. And SOC busts through the natural just barely in time there as the Ultras started to come online. Any later and he would have been in trouble, but he manages to smash through SACSRI's defense here on Minstrel. Again, kind of an expected win there for Terran. Like, we expect Zerg to win on Kickback. We expect Terran to win on Minstrel. It's very hard to overcome those odds on these 2 maps, but the rest of the map pool is relatively even. I don't see a massive advantage for either side on either Dominator or Deja Vu. Monty Hall is just such a crazy map. Here we go. Match number 5. SOC spawning in the top left-hand corner. SACSRI down here in the bottom left. 2-2, all tied up. None of those previous games matter. It's a best of 3 now. In the latter part of this series. Float Ocean, thank you so much for the 30 gems, man. Keeping Broodwar alive. You absolute legend. Some outstanding support today. Really appreciate it, everybody. We're gonna get to that gem skull soon, and we'll have Shun on as a reward for making it to that gem skull. I already talked to him. Once we reach 3,000 gems, he's going to stay up all night. This series starts at about 3 a.m. his time, but he's going to sacrifice his sleep for us and get a duo cast here for the SOOP Duel series. A duo cast for the Duel series. It just sounds right. It makes sense. And it feels right, doesn't it? Overpool here from SACSRI, mixing it up. That is interesting. Worried about maybe getting blocked his hatchery or 8-raxed. In fact, it is an 8-rax out of SOC. So SACSRI choosing the right build for the right map, for the right player. He's actually going to be able to block this most likely with relative ease. Can't really afford a drone scout off of this build, though. You're kind of sacrificing your early economy a bit too much to get these lings out. So doing a drone scout as well is a little bit too expensive. He's going to more 4 lings and go find out what SOC is up to. As soon as SOC sees this, I think he just makes his CC. And doesn't try to put on any pressure. Even though he's went for 8 racks. His economy has been thrown off a bit. SACSRI is also thrown off his economy by going for such an early pool here. The overpool build doesn't give you the best possible economy. And so that kind of offsets the losses from the 8 racks. Kind of pausing on early game workers. It does slow you down quite a bit, but we can basically treat this game or think of this game as kind of a normal opener, but just with later timings. There's just going to be slightly later timings on everything. Oh, he built a second Rax. Wait. Holy crap. A second Rax here in the natural. It is so all in. It's crazy. If SACSRI builds Sunken Colonies back at home, he's going to be in an amazing position. But if he gets outmaneuvered here and SOC hides the fact that he's built this many Marines for long enough, comes across this map with Stim, he can just bust wide open SACSRI. If he's got only 1 Sunken Colony, he will just die. Coming in from the right-hand side with 1 link. Can he slip by? Hidden Marines here on the right-hand side. I think SACSRI, he smells something fishy. He's trying to get in there, trying to figure out, like, I want him to just sacrifice a ling to run by here, but he's not doing it. He's trying to see with the previous vision. Oh, God, with the receding vision, trying to see what he can. Okay, he's going to get in here. He sees that now. He sees everything. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He needs Sunken Colonies immediately. Double Sunken Colony will likely be on the way here for SACSRI. Even canceling the Spire is okay. In a situation like this, you need money now. Pulling all the workers off the gas, also a good idea. Pulling the drones, pulling everything. He's just got to stay alive. Good block here to start things off. Actually slowing down the Marines by quite a bit and killing a couple of them. Ling's going to come out and actually getting some kills here. That one medic at the back is actually stopping any of these Marines from dying, but he's done enough. I think he's done enough. He's killed enough of these Marines. He's got the 2 Sunken Colonies up now, and the 3rd Sunken Colony will finish. SACSRI lives with only 13 drones left. What does he have to live for exactly? Well, the Spire is going to finish up. SOC starts his factory. I think it's time to start an eBay there, brother. We need some anti-air. Maybe get that CC on the way. I'm surprised to see the factory. I guess he's gonna continue the all-in though. Build a couple of tanks, maybe try to bust the front. That seems unlikely. It doesn't seem like that's gonna work for him, but well, you do you, SACSRI. Or SOC. Damn it, it's so hard. It's so tough, guys. SOC and SACSRI, the names, they are so similar. At least the first couple of syllables. And it's really screwing me up here. But SACSRI just gonna make a round of drones rather than his first round of mutas. Not expecting to kill right off the bat. He knows that his opponent's gonna have a good number of Marines back at home. And so delaying the mutalist, keeping the gas mining going, and just getting a bunch of drones out so that he can make non-stop mutalist production afterwards. I think it's a good choice. He has +1 attack on the way. A third hatchery is being built in the main as well. Oh, he's going to get into his 3 hatch muta. And generally, Terran should be dead from a situation like this, guys. It should just be over. There shouldn't be a way for SOC to come back. And so, look at this. SACSRI just builds 3 more sunken colonies. Yeah. Yeah, good choice. Good choice, I'd say. As long as you live, SACSRI should not be able to win this game. So, sacrificing a few extra drones to just ensure that that will take place, that you will live, it makes a lot of sense. SACSRI going to spend the last of his gas. Pumping out a few more mutas, potentially. What is SOC going to do with this factory? Is he going to make, like, a dropship? I imagine, like, that might be a reasonable decision in a situation like this. Like, there's almost no way you win this game. So, what are you actually going to do? Bring a tank all the way across the map? The mutas could snipe that. Maybe if you get a drop into the main, you can go around these sunken colonies and have a chance. He's actually going for a science vessel, which I don't agree with at all. I think this is probably the worst decision he could make. Maybe he makes a science vessel, gets a radiate, and then builds a dropship after. I don't know, guys. I feel like SACSRI just got this. SOC is dead. But he's still going to try and fight this. He's still going to try and push back the mutas. Just SACSRI has all the control. He's got all the power. He can do whatever he wants. He can transition now if he wants. He can just make mutas and Scourge. He sees everything. He knows exactly what SOC has. He starts his evolution chamber. He starts his Hydralisk den. He's going to get some lurkers out. Just cover every single base. This is one of those situations where there's no reason to cut. There's no reason to be stingy with defense or to be stingy anywhere, really. You just make sure that you live and cover every single base possible. Because even if you are insanely safe, you're still going to be ahead. It's like SOC thinking about taking his natural. But the mutas of SACSRI are going to be able to deny that. Oh gosh, that does a lot of damage actually. Oof. Oof, that's quite a bit. Quite a bit of damage. But is it going to matter truly in the grand scheme of things? I doubt it. 2 HP on that science vessel is kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting the 2 HP there, but even with that science vessel surviving and all the damage from the irradiate, the transition is well underway for SACSRI, and SOC is still sitting here on 1 base, losing more SCVs. He's now 5 workers behind the Zerg. There's no real long-term hope here for SACSRI. He needs to put together whatever army he's planning to and go for some sort of an attack. That's really his only option. He's getting an add-on here for the factory, and so he will start a tank eventually, but lurkers are going to come up and contain him in his natural, and that's going to have to be it. Once the lurkers are here right at the front, how are you ever going to bring this one back? The Marines are going to come back into the main base, and so he's opening up an opportunity for the lurkers to come in and get this position. There are quite a few irradiates ready. More lurkers are being made. SACSRI gonna back up with these lurkers and lings. He could just counterattack into the natural as well if SOC moves out. Oh, going for his science vessel. He gets one. Scourge able to get that connection. Here comes the counterattack. And I think this is checkmate. Here comes 5 lurkers into that natural. 1 tank finally pops out. But SOC is forced to tap. Yeah, it is incredibly over. Really, from the moment that 2 racks didn't work, this game should have gone to SACSRI, but he decided to stick around and see if he could make something happen. No hate for that mentality. There's some money on the line here, so he sticks around to see if SACSRI makes a mistake. And here we go. We've got SOC down here in the bottom left on Deja Vu. The Red Terran player tried to put one over on SACSRI in that last one. 2 racks play. Very cheesy stuff. Nothing gets by this guy, though. SACSRI in the top right-hand corner. Our blue Zerg. Really good scouting out of him. He seems like such a brainy player just from this series alone. Showcasing his understanding of this game at such a high level. Really deciphering what his opponent is up to and pulling it apart, finding the perfect counter. In all 3 of his games, he's shown some really great understanding of this beautiful, near 25-year-old game. And now he's going to be opening with a 9 pool. No, overpool. Interesting. Overpool build from SACSRI. Again, maybe concerned about an 8 racks out of SOC. Wanting to try and shut that down. It worked really well for him in the last game, but I think this game it might come back to hurt him. Overpool against a Wallen with a quick CC. It's a pretty devastating deficit that you have to deal with in the early game. There's really no way to ling your way out of a situation like this either. Building lings is just going to put you further and further behind. So that spawning pool going to hamper SACSRI's economy a bit. We'll see where he wants to go from here. It looks like he might be thinking of putting down 3 hatch before gas again. Very interesting. Overpool 3 hatch. No gas. This is going to be a truly unique game. And SOC not going to find that drone down bottom right. He's pulled his SCV back. He's more concerned about getting his own defenses up here with this many lings coming across the map. However, with just 3 Marines behind this wall, an SCV in that gap, He should be able to hold on. Even against 6 Lings, it's not going to be a problem. SCV is still alive, still scouting. Third gas is coming up. He's searching for that third hatchery. He has no idea it's down here in the bottom right-hand corner. SOC needs to get some information, figure out where that's at. But these Lings are going to track down the SCV now and bully it away from that bottom right-hand corner. SACSRI. Is he going to go for another Hydralis Defiler game? It seems difficult with the hatcheries so far away from his main. Usually when you go for Hydralis Defiler on 3 base, you want to take the closer location, that third over in his quadrant of the map would be optimal, but having a base down at the bottom right-hand corner, maybe he holds that with Lurker and gets into Hydralis Defiler. However, how do you build Sunkens to keep that alive? That's my big question. Usually you're going to try and keep the third alive with Sunkens. He actually kills the SCV before scouting that base. It's kind of big. Although he's got to assume it's down there. Not knowing for sure, though, is a bit frustrating for SOC. Yeah, the layer is quite late with 3 hatch before gas, a 2 racks early stim. Oh, he actually went for +1 early. Well, maybe SACSRI lives with this hatchery then, because if you go 3 hatch before gas, you're not gonna... Oh, Hydra. He's gonna go straight into Lurker. Very interesting stuff. Man, I'm really curious to how this is gonna go. He scouts. Where does he scan? He scans the main. He sees the Hydra Den. Time to build some... Oh, and a Spire too. Time to build some bunkers in the front. As long as SOC builds some bunkers out here, he should be fine against anything, any pressure coming in the early game. But he sees the timing on that. It looks like he doesn't even need the bunkers. Maybe he'll just move forward with these Marines and be okay. All right, one SCV does come out. I think he's going to start a bunker out here. Kind of looks like it. Medic's moving so far forward. I guess he's not going to start that. He moves out. I mean, there's... The Lurkers are so late with this 3 hatch before gas. That I guess this is just going to be a pure defensive build. So I'm going to try to push out a little bit. Lings here to answer. As soon as SOC saw that Hydra Den, he started his own factory, so he's going to have some tech going here in not too long. This is the problem with going this build against Terran. The 3 hatch before gas on the high ground on a base like this. It's so hard to build sunken colonies to actually defend this. There's so many different angles that the Terran player can take to try and break that position. So he's going to be relying on Lurker Egg on the ramp until Lurkers are out to keep this alive. Oh my god, he messed it up. Well, we're going into game. We're going into our next game. SACSRI gonna win this, or SOC gonna win this one. SACSRI gonna fall apart here. Well, that's a little bit embarrassing. I've heard from pro players, Zerg players. Oh, wow. Killed a lot there. Can he actually burrow and stop this from going down? No, he cannot. That is going to die. Some of the drones did survive over in the top right. And so he can reestablish his base, but this has gone terribly, terribly wrong. It's actually most likely going to go for just like a big, massive counterattack. And that's probably not going to work because everything is slow. Everything is kind of weak. For SACSRI, he might be able to build a Nidus down bottom right at least. But we've got Science Vessels, tanks. The income is terrible right now for SACSRI. He's sitting here at 2 base income. He's going to go around this with a bunch of lurkers, but there's a SCV spotting it. Oh, that's not going to be good. Lurkers are going to have to back away now. More lurkers being made here. SACSRI trying to get into that hive. Dude, the egg block on the ramp. I've heard that a lot of pro Zerg players talk about this. There's some videos out there, specifically by Jin, where they're talking about how Zerg players always lose in the most pathetic ways. And it is 100% true. It's not that they're pathetic players, but it feels so pathetic when you make a mistake as Zerg and you just get bowled over. Definitely feels like the weakest race right when that bust happens. Of course, if everything goes properly, Zerg is incredibly strong. But when things start to go wrong, my god, does it feel weak and helpless. These lurkers getting wrecked. Yeah, just something like that, like a bust working. Looks like really Zerg. How can Zergs ever win? Or Marines just walking past an egg on a ramp. It's an absolute free win. Some drones not mining there in the main base, adding insult to injury. SACSRI's units even betraying him as he falls back across this map and continues to lose ground, continues to lose lurkers. Tanks are going to siege up. He has to back away now. The unsiege is immediate. Some units going down to bottom right, but 2 eggs on the ramp this time. He's learned his lesson. Gonna block with double egg. Should have done that originally. Maybe this game would have been a bit different. He loses the science vessel at least. That's something. Science vessel goes down, but lurkers are not going to do too well against all of this bio and the tanks that are pushing forward. You're going to set up a lurker up there on the high ground. And he's going to have to use scans to break through. Some Lings coming out to try and help this. Can he get the good connections on these spines? No. Everything goes down. He will be able to hop through some lurkers. This Nidus Canal is going to save the day for a moment, but a lot more drones just fell. Down to 24 workers here for SACSRI. He's desperately trying to hold on as he gets into some defilers. Lings are going to try and surround this. Can he actually block these tanks? He does block 2 of the tanks and actually kills them both. So a really decent pickup there. But I don't think it's gonna matter. It's just such a horrible position to be working from. He starts Plague. Did he actually get Consume? I hope so. There's the first Consume. He's got enough for Dark Swarm. Going for the Scourge. Really, SACSRI has been so on top of utilizing Scourge this game. It's been really impressive. His Scourge use has been second to none. As I say that, he just lets 2 Scourge die for free. Of course, Caster's Curse. SACSRI gonna live for now, but it is a long road to recovery. I'm talking a long road. If he wants to win this game, he's gonna have to hang on for a crazy long time against drops, against irradiates, constantly pestering him. The SACSRI gonna move forward here once again. He should have kept the Scourge back a little bit if he was gonna do this. Having the position out that far, he can drop his Defiler back quite a bit and then utilize the Scourge to defend. He is going to catch one of the dropships as it's coming in, so that's big. He stops one of the drops. If he can get Lings underneath this, he can prevent this drop from doing any damage, but actually the Lings go running out of the main as the drop comes in. He's going to pull back some lurkers now to try and keep this alive. Let's see if he can stop any more damage. Oh, God. That lurker dies immediately as it runs underneath the Dark Swarm. And SACSRI leaves this game. Too much pressure. Too much of a hill to climb. SACSRI going to give up for now and try to take him down in our final game. Game number 7. We've made it, guys. An epic series here. Taking us all the way to this final game. Oh my gosh. I cannot get it to work. Well, that's frustrating. Almost as frustrating as misplacing your egg on the ramp. Am I right, guys? SACSRI over here in the top left-hand corner. His opponent, SOC, in the bottom right. Final game of the night. Monty Hall is our map. An incredible way to end a awesome series. I'm hoping for a really intense battle on this wacky map. We've got the players on their separate islands to start. And we're going to see SACSRI most likely go for 3 base early into a Hydralisk defense. That's how I've seen most Zerg players tackle Terran on this map. Because the prevalence of 111 and 2-port Wraith is... it's omnipresent right now. It's everywhere. Pretty much everyone is doing it. It seems to be the way to play Monty Hall. He starts a spawning pool early. Is he going to cancel this gas? Wait, what? Is this overpool? Overpool into gas. Are we going to see a crazy fast 2-hatch meta? Very interesting. Or was this a 12 pool? 12 pool is a real build. It gives you a extremely fast Spire. He's setting up a factory on the left-hand side here. Proxy factory. We can bring the SCV up to those mineral patches and then hop the Vulture over. Using the mineral command with the SCV. It's a little bit tough to do, but it is possible. Might take a couple of tries, but he will eventually get it in there. And SACSRI opening with a really aggressive Muta build, I believe. Might not have enough defenses back at home. This is an extremely tight build what SACSRI is doing. He's only going to have about 3 drones on minerals at the natural. And you can see he's not even mining out the minerals in between the bases because he can't afford to mine slowly with 1 drone. Oh, actually, he is mining with 1 drone. Look at this. He is sending 1 drone to mine that out. So he is going to take that hit to the economy to make sure that he can move between bases. I think that's a reasonable choice. Ling's coming forward here. Yeah, I don't think we'll see SOC really get much done with this. Because the Lings are right there and SACSRI can see this. He is going to, as soon as the Vulture hops over, jump on it. We've already seen how quick he is. With the responsiveness. A second Vulture comes up. That's actually to start hitting the Lings as the first Vulture comes across. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's on it. He's on it. He's got it. Ling speed is done. 2 Lings go down for 1 Vulture. Easily take that trade any day of the week. Here as SACSRI. He's pumping out the last few drones that he's going to make most likely in this entire game. Going into just the bare minimum number of drones to be able to make non-stop Mutalisk production. Back at home, science facility. Similar build from SOC, what he followed up with in that previous game. Going right into Science Facility, getting a very early vessel. This Wraith is going to come in and scout. Mutas are about to pop. He's actually got no drones mining the natural minerals. That's crazy. That is wild. He is fully all in with this Mutalist play, and he cannot afford to lose an Overlord. And he just lost one. That's a bit rough. If you think about it, like, he is very low on minerals. His mineral count is so low. Building an Overlord is gonna cost him a lot of time. It's gonna be very expensive for SACSRI to build an Overlord. You can see he's got 300 gas banked up and only 100 minerals. So once this Overlord pops, look, he's only now... I mean, he's still supply blocked. He's just opened up enough supply to not be in a deficit. He's no longer in the red, but he's coming in here, dealing some damage, killing off some of these medics. There's no turrets, which is a massive oversight for SOC. I think he's kind of underestimated this, how quick these mutas were going to be coming, and only getting the one bunker here, pulling off the Marines with no stim. Okay, he's got stim now, but I don't think he has range, that's for sure. Here comes that first Irradiate. That's the big Irradiate that SOC was banking on. It does a lot of damage, and it actually shoves everything back. SACSRI makes a round of drones behind this. Maybe realizing that he's not just going to be able to break SOC, and SOC is sitting here on one base, just building tech. It's time to do some tech transition for himself. SACSRI pulls all the drones off of gas at the natural to get these drones out as quickly as possible. He will be taking a third most likely, or just a macro hatchery in the main. And getting some tech going so that he can make this transition. SACSRI coming back in towards SOC's base. He is one worker ahead of his opponent at the moment. Interesting position for that hatchery. That's definitely to mine out the right path and the minerals there, blocking between his natural and his main. Wants to get rid of those minerals as soon as possible, really free up his units to move smoothly in between those bases. Coming forward with Mutas and Scourge. Those vessels are at a dangerous position. If he dives in here with a few Mutas and a pair of Scourge, he could definitely get one of these if SOC doesn't react instantly with his vessels. I think SACSRI's seen this with the Overlord, and he's looking for it. One Scourge goes down, unfortunately. Now he can't get the kill. Only one Scourge available. So those vessels are safe for now. They're the backbone of this army, and SOC must keep them alive. He's moving forward now, looking for an opportunity to irradiate. Big irradiates here. Huge irradiates, actually dealing a lot of damage. Only 4 Mutalists remain. You're gonna have to build sunken colonies back at home. A base gets started for SOC. And yeah, a lot of sunken colonies being made. He needs these to hold back the Marine Medic while this transition is underway. Armor upgrade is coming. +1 attack is just ahead of it. So SACSRI might be catching up in upgrades, at least for a good amount of time. Now, the upgrades will be even relatively long here. And it'll only be a small gap in time where SOC has the advantage of the additional upgrade being ahead over that Carapace. It's only gonna last for a matter of a few seconds though, and then the Carapace will catch up. We'll see if SOC can hit one of those timings, maybe at the +2 mark, or maybe at the +3 mark when Carapace is still at +2. If it is flying in, Still not able to pick off any of these science vessels, but baiting out a lot of irradiates onto these mutas. It's been relatively successful in that regard. Getting rid of that energy. Some lurkers are ready to start to push out, but Marines and medics are heading along this path. I thought that SACSRI would take the top lane for himself, considering the position of that macro hatchery, but instead he's decided to push, it seems like, through this bottom lane. Look to get a push going on his opponent. A lot of Hydras, Lurkers, and Lings are ready to push out. Those Lurkers have been spotted now. Scourge are available to try and shut down these vessels as he comes forward. Will he be able to break this base? Behind it, he doesn't really have a follow-up. No third on the way for SACSRI just yet. Bit surprised to see him not try to take that. He really wants to get something done with this Ling Lurker army. And diving on top of Marine Medic with Science Vessel, I don't know if it's going to work out well for SACSRI. He builds another round of drones. And it looks like he's gearing up to take that third now, which I think is the right choice. SOC's natural was quite late. The worker count overall is kind of favoring SACSRI. It's just a little bit behind the worker count of SOC, but I think that overall does favor the Zerg player. 27 to 33 right now. SACSRI pushing forward. He's finding this factory, blocking the gap between the mineral patches. He's gonna go ahead and start to hit that with his lurkers. Some Scourge are available to try and dive on these vessels, but there's a few too many Marines out of this. And so SOC gets a big wave of lurker kills there. Diving in, he gets a vessel. Sacrifice the one Mutalist to actually get that kill. Lurkers here slowly pushing forward. A lot of irradiates though are hitting this, and he's gonna spread and start to split. Bunch of vessels go down though. 2 vessels, 3 vessels. Oh my gosh, he gets all 3 vessels. That's huge. This lurker push is now so much scarier. This is like 7 lurkers on the inside of SOC's base. SOC has a really nice wide spread on his Marines, and so he should be able to hit this from all angles. But the trade is still not going to be amazing here for SOC. And behind this, SACSRI is just getting geared up. He will have lurkers and defilers coming out soon. Here comes that attack. Gonna come in and hit this from all angles. The lurkers go down. Pretty decent clearing there of these units by SOC. But SACSRI comes in from the left-hand side. These lurkers came out of nowhere. Ran past the bunker, and they're dealing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, in the main base, a drop. SACSRI has to run away with all of his drones. He loses his spawning pool, but he's pressing inwards towards this main. We'll have to back up now. Gonna try to focus on keeping his tech alive. He loses his spire. Oh gosh, in this evolution chamber, if that goes down. Oh, if that goes down right before it finishes upgrading, it's gonna be massive. It's so close. Oh, oh, 74 health. And it barely lives. Unreal. That armor upgrade is so important. And he managed to keep it alive. Just barely there at the last second. If SOC had been a little bit quicker, he definitely would have been able to shut that down. Unfortunately now, SOC, his upgrades are going to be matched 1-to-1. He's pushing up along this bottom pathway, and SACSRI is not reacting. I think overall, SOC has done a better job trading in this game. He's moving up with tanks. He's going to be able to set up over the wall. This is such a good position for the tank coming forward, setting up right here. Gonna have to unstack these tanks, hitting the gas mining drones at this position is so annoying. SACSRI can't mine off of this gas geyser. He's gonna have to pull the trigger on an attack here soon, or he will just lose. Defiler, where is it? I don't see it yet. More lurkers are being made. There's the Defiler mound, but two Marines get dropped off at the natural. SOC is breaking through. SACSRI is falling apart. I guess that attack into the main base, ill-advised. And the drop did so much damage during it that SAC is struggling to recombobulate himself. Putting together some sort of defense. He's gonna bring the lurkers forward. He does kill a tank. There's only one tank left, and the Marines are kind of tucked into the left corner. If he can completely surround that ball of Marines and force it up against the wall, maybe he can crush it and overwhelm this push. But he's sitting here on 2 bases while SOC is taking a third. Finally, he has a Defiler out. This Defiler walking forward is a big pain. Oh my gosh. Losing that Defiler is so painful. Some vessels will go down, but lurkers are all going to be irradiated, and the Defiler as well. And he actually killed this tank. Not reacting in time. SACSRI not going to be able to get that tank kill. SACSRI taking top center as his third base now. To try and get that underway. Drop heading up towards that. It's been spotted. But I don't know if SACSRI will have Scourge ready to deal with that. If he has Scourge coming out here and catches the dropship coming in, maybe there's a chance he can win this game. Maybe he can somehow come back. But with this drop landing, I really don't see it. I don't see how he lives. Pushing in on the left and the right at the same time. SACSRI trying to deal with both fires, trying to put out fires on either side, but he's struggling to hold anything right now. Another Dark Swarm should come down, but all of the Hydras are dead. That Lurker goes down. The Filer is gone. The drones are dead. GG is called. SOC in the final game, snagging away that $500 with his win in game number 7. That was intense, guys. Really close final game. It felt like SACSRI had something going for him when he initiated that attack into the main and then came in with the lurkers from the left-hand side. Almost caught all the SCVs there, caught some of the Marines, caused a lot of stress on the side of SOC. It was looking pretty good. But the drop, the counter drop, was so powerful in that moment. And so SOC takes this one away. He gets the win on Monty Hall. That's got to be a satisfying win after losing out on game number 2 and 3. It was looking to be kind of desperate, but he brought it back. He knocks down the play on Minstrel. Takes that win on Deja Vu. Struggles in Dominator, but takes it home here on Monty Hall. A very fun series. I hope you guys enjoyed that series. And if you did, definitely consider supporting it here on the SOOP Duel Series stream, the live cast. We've got our gem goal down there at the bottom right-hand corner. As you can see, we're making progress. And as a reward for reaching that goal, if we reach 3,000 gems, we're going to bring Shun on for a duel cast. Keep him up all night, make him lose sleep, ruin his sleep schedule, but he's agreed. as a reward. If we get the support that we're looking for, we're gonna get that. And maybe in the future we'll have more rewards as well. Get some other big casters on here. Try to get some friends of mine. I've already talked to Tasteless. I've let him know that this is going on and talked to him about doing a dual cast. I'm going to talk to Artosis as well. I might talk to Herbmon. Want to make it worth it for you guys. Make it worth your time to make an account on SOOP and donate some gems to the cause. That last game was epic. Absolutely. Bigums, thanks for joining us here on the live stream. Big shout outs to those of you who supported here in the SOC versus SACSRI match. We've got Eddie Slide with 50 gems, Lurker Bomb with 100 big ones, the big 100 gem gift, and Float Ocean with 30 gems. You guys are making it happen. Thank you so much for your contribution. And I've just been informed tomorrow it's going to be Snow versus Royal. A very exciting follow-up to that Royal versus Best game that we saw yesterday. Go ahead and put that up on screen now. Snow versus Royal should be an incredible match. So guys, the hype does not end. The hype never ends here on the SOOP Duel Series. Snow versus Royal tomorrow. That'll be Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss it. Thank you so much to our Spanish casters. Great job to you as well. I love the SOOP Duel Series. Hope it continues forever. I hope so too. Guys, if you want this SOOP Duel Series to continue forever, it needs your support. Gems, if you are able to join the live stream. If you can't, consider giving us a sub here on the SOOP platform. As long as this gets lots of support, then the SOOP platform, the SOOP company, remember guys, it is a company, all right? They don't live on passion alone, not like us. They're looking to see numbers. They want to see gems. They want to see contributions. And if they see that there's enough support, then they will consider giving more preference to the English casting community, to the English community. They will give more stuff for us to cast and more content for you guys to consume. It all depends on you. This is a great step in the right direction, getting more content from SOOP, increasing our ties and getting more access to SOOP content. There's so many more series that I want to cast, things like Ultimate Battle, the Collegiate Star League, other things that SOOP is involved with that we haven't had a chance to even see in the English community because we're not a part of it. We don't have that access yet. But the more support we get on the SOOP platform, the more they'll see that it's another source of revenue. It's another way that they can monetize their content. And so they'll, whenever starting a new series or looking at some of their older series, they'll think, what about the English stream? Maybe we can get together some English casters and put together an English stream, and that'll be good. That'll be part of our bottom line. That's really what they care about. It is, after all, a for-profit company that's putting on all these series, that's really controlling and funding these series. So as long as you guys understand that, I think we can work together to make it possible to increase the amount of content that's casted in English. That is my dream. That is my hope, my wish. And I know a lot of you guys share that dream with me, so thank you to those of you who have supported. I think that's about it. With that final word, I'm gonna end this stream. Snow versus Royal, guys. That's tomorrow, tonight. Or I guess tomorrow morning, your guys' time in North America. I'm gonna be dropping KCM week number 4. So when's that going to be? Let me take a look at the time right now. That is in 10 hours, guys. Take a look at my YouTube channel. The KCM week number 4 was incredibly good. Super hype. Week number 4. I think there are about 3 games in there that I'm going to be adding to the best of 2025. My file folder for the games that I put out at the end of the year, which I consider to be the best of the best. Around 3 of those games are top contenders for those slots. And so don't miss out, guys. In just 10 hours, that video is going to be dropped. And if you missed out on any of the games here today with SACSRI versus SOC, you can check out that video. It'll be out in the next couple of days on my YouTube channel. But again, KCM is coming out next in just 10 hours, and then 24 hours from then, it'll be the video on the YouTube channel, SACSRI versus SOC. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow.